Moving on, I want to play you boys a snippet. This is from what Pochettino has had to say today as his job comes under even more pressure.
Demanding the support to the team, to the players, because I know the quality and we know the quality of the player. The players have an amazing quality. The only problem is take time to build a team. And that is, the reality that we need to translate to the fans, and the fans to be patient. Of course, that we are going to find a way to succeed. Too many things that we need to fix before to talk about tactics or about to talk football. But we are entitled to fix all the things. As soon as possible, for sure, we are going to perform and be in the position that the club deserves,
Telling the fans to be patient. There's other things to fix before we look at the football. And Chelsea fans online have lost it over this. They want him gone. The majority, that is. They want him gone. They want him out. Of course, at the weekend, gents, they were battered by Wolves. Battered 4 goals at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. They got smashed by Liverpool. They're 11th. They're actually, after 23 games under Poch, they have less wins and less points. And they're in a lower position than when Graham Potter was there. How is this man surviving, in your opinion?
I think he's a clown. I really do. I think he's an absolute idiot. I'm sorry. I think the guy's an absolute idiot. And I do not get, and I do not accept these people who say, oh, just give him time. Give him time. What are you on about give him time? You got to earn time. You don't just get given time. You know what I mean? If I take a new job, 100 grand a year salary or whatever, and I'm doing an ass job for the first 6 months, it's not, oh, just give me time. Guess what? You're on one of them 6-month deals and you're out because you've not met the criteria. This manager is not good enough. Yeah, he's the most overrated manager. As when I speak to people about him and people try and tell me how good this guy is, I don't know what planet they're living on. All right, he done okay at Spurs. Still didn't win anything. Didn't win any domestic cups. Didn't win any leagues. Didn't win a Champions League. Right? So what? You're just saying he's mint because he got him in the top 4 every year. Is that what we're saying? All right, okay then. He's great. What? He then went to PSG. Had half a season to turn the season around and win the league. Didn't win the league in the first year. Yeah, finished second. He had 21 games, by the way. So this is again, when people try and come at me in the chat and say, oh, LB, he only had a limited amount of games. He had 21 games. Yeah, so stop the cap. He had plenty of time to win the league there and then failed at PSG. And people will say, oh, it's PSG. Pep Guardiola goes to PSG. He's doing a lot better than that. He's getting them to Champions League finals. If Jurgen Klopp goes to PSG, he's getting them to Champions League finals. Same with Carlo Ancelotti. So if you want to put him on a top bracket manager, you got to give him top bracket manager expectations and judge him off that. I just think he's a good manager. I think he's an okay manager. Nothing more. Nothing less, nothing more. I think he's an okay manager. That's it. And I do not understand why the obsession. In fact, I do understand it. It's because he plays nice football. He plays attractive football and he's good with the kids. Yeah? Weird. Yeah, weird. I just don't get it, man. Football is about results. And he's not getting the results. They're at the bottom half of the table. And the thing is, I completely disagree when people say, oh, Chelsea's the hardest job in the Premier League. Is it? Let's just actually assess what the expectation was this season. Was anyone expecting Chelsea to win the league this year? No. Most people weren't even doing Chelsea top 4 because I've seen Dan Potts' predictions, seen my predictions at the start of the season. I don't know about Terrace, and I don't know anyone who had Chelsea in the top 4. No, all anyone was expecting Chelsea was to go from 11th, or 12th last season to what? 7th? 6th? Are you telling me that's a ridiculous job and one of the hardest jobs in the Premier League when they've got a squad that's worth £1 billion? I'm sorry, I just disagree. I completely disagree with everything that people say on this. I think the guy's a clown. I don't think he knows what he's doing. And he's massively, massively, massively underachieving. And yes, 100%, the owner's an idiot. The people running the football clubs are idiot. The recruitment strategy has been an idiot. Yeah, it's been ridiculous. But all we're asking is for this manager to take a team that's had £1 billion spent on it from 12th to 7th to 6th. That's it. and he's not even doing that. So I just genuinely, just personally, just don't get it. Yeah. Listen, I just think he's an okay manager at best. I won't want him anywhere near my team.
I love it. I mean, listen, LB, you sound like you're a Chelsea fan, man. You're ranting about him. It's quite funny. I love it personally. I think it's brilliant.
Because people chat so much rubbish about it, mate. People want to talk to me about, oh, Pochettino, great manager, isn't he? What? What are you on about, great manager? You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand what's gone on here. They spent £1 billion, and they're in the bottom half of the table. And people go on like it's fine. It's just like, it's proper strange, but I find it bizarre how people just accept it and just say, give him more time, more time.
And so, I mean, I must say, I don't know what your thoughts are, Terry. We'll see your comment in a minute, but for me, bro, I just think it's mad what I'm seeing. Like, you know, I went on Troops' channel, I said proper 12. That's not proper Chelsea, proper 12, because that's what they are, mate. It is absolutely embarrassing how bad they are, man.
12.
Proper 12. I was with Sam asked me on his channel, and he kind of shut me down really, and made me rethink about my first thoughts on this. I think Poch is done terrible, right? But there's more problems for me. It's not just Pochettino. If they sack Pochettino, nothing will change. Absolutely nothing, right?
What do you mean nothing will change, Dan? What do you mean nothing will change? Will they not get better?
Okay, let me explain why. Because I was like you, only yesterday. I was like you. Nothing will change. I was thinking it will change. It will get better if you get a different manager in. And then Sam actually rightly asked me, okay, cool. And I'll ask you the same question he asked me. What players are you taking then? What players in Chelsea should be getting them 5th and 4th and 5th and 6th?
I'm not even saying 5th, 4th. I'm saying 7th and 6th.
7th then. Whatever it was you said. What are the players that you look at and go, Coy, I'm taking them in any side. They're quality. I couldn't name many, bruv. That's what my point is. I could name Caicedo. If I'm honest, I think he's a good player, but he hasn't been great. I don't really get this Enzo hype. And people, I think this guy was supposed to be better than Bellingham. Yeah, that's done. At the back, they're still relying on a 39-year-old at the back to be their best centre half.
You tell me this squad's not capable of getting 7th, Dan. You tell me the squad's not capable of getting 7th.
I don't know it. I don't know yet. We haven't seen it proved yet. We've got a squad now over the last 2 years that's come 12th and is currently 11th. But apparently it should be 7th. But Potter couldn't do it, Lampard couldn't do it, and Poch couldn't do it.
Because they're not good managers.
Not good.
No, it's not a shock.
But are the players that good? I don't know that they are. They'll be. I don't know. They are.
No. They're massively overrated. I agree with that. But they're definitely capable of getting 7th, Dan. Come on.
So let me ask you this then. So Poch goes, they get top 7 with a manager. Tell me a manager that they can get right now that will get them in top 7, guaranteed.
Well, I wouldn't have sacked Tuchel in the first place, personally. I think with Tuchel would have had him top 7. So that's a mistake.
Okay, but no, one that's available now, one that's like ready right now to walk in, they can get tomorrow.
Well, he'll probably be available. Well, not tomorrow, but he'll be available in the summer. I don't think he's going to be at Bayern Munich next year. Mourinho could probably.
Yeah, in the summer they'll have a different squad again. So what's right now?
I don't think they'll have a different. I don't think they've got the money. I don't think they've got the financial fair play restrictions. I don't think they can.
Okay, but my point is, like, is there a manager right now that if you think, okay, Hansi Flick, I think he's much better than Pochettino, in my opinion, right? I think he comes in, but I look at it and I think might be able to give him a good go at getting where they want him to be. But I don't think he's guaranteed looking at the squad. They've got absolutely nothing up top. They've got nothing on the win. One of the best players going forward is Sterling.
Bro, you don't think Hansi Flick comes in this team, or just like a manager like that, and improves them from 11th to maybe 8th or 7th?
Possibly, but I can't guarantee it. I can't.
Because I think I could guarantee it. I think I could guarantee
team performances.
Can I ask a question though, Dan? I get where you're coming from, Dan. Let's just say he stays. What are the changes that need to be made that you then think will see Poch get Chelsea back to the top?
I think there needs to be structure above. I think it's absolutely crazy. I don't think this structure of buying. How are you under 23 years old? Yes, come and play for me then. That is not going to win you anything. I don't look at that. Okay, so we just said there's £1 billion spent, right? And you say that to Chelsea, they go, actually, it's 895 million, actually. I don't care, yeah? It's near enough £1 billion, right? That team is shocking. £1 billion has been spent on that team. Look at the state of it. They've got a goalkeeper that they're now calling Petr Cech because it rhymes with it nearly. I don't know that he's going to be good enough to win them to a title, right? They've got a back four. I don't really rate many of them. Reece James, forget him, he's hardly there. Ben Chilwell is an okay left back, but people go on like he's the next Roberto Carlos. Centre halves wise, Thiago Silva's still one of their best ones, and he's 39. Yeah, and they've spent billions on it at the back. In midfield, Caicedo doesn't look anywhere near as good enough as he was in a Brighton shirt, but I'm not going to sit there and say that he's a bad player. Lavia, we haven't seen yet, but I do think he's a good player. But again, that's potentially. He's not ready to walk in and win a title. Enzo, don't get what he is. Poch has played him as a 6, 8, 10, bloody up and down, box to box. Don't know what he is. No creative midfielder. The best one is apparently Conor Gallagher. That's a problem if he's your best player in the team. Nicholas Jackson is their only striker now because Broyer's just been allowed to leave. That's a problem. And then width-wise, you've got Madueke who doesn't look ready. You've got Chukwuemeka and Mudryk who look like a waste of money, and Chukwuemeka doesn't look ready. And Raheem Sterling, you know what he's like, LB. He ain't going to win Chelsea shit, in my opinion. So people are saying to me, this team should be 6th, this team should be 5th. Should it? I don't look at that and go, wow, massive, massive problem. I don't think I do. And only yesterday, I was on a show going, do you know what? I like this because it's made me change my mind on this. I was like you. Poch should be doing better. This is a team that should be getting 7th. Is it? I don't know that it is.
I think 7th is a reasonable expectation. Listen, I agree with the points that you made about the top 4. Yeah, I don't think they're anywhere near. That squad is nowhere near top 4. And I've said on this show previously, I think the money that Chelsea spent over the last 18 months has been the biggest waste of football spend ever in the history of the game. Because they've absolutely... This transfer strategy that they've gone down is just so ridiculously naive. Yeah, how you spend £1 billion, yeah, and not have a legit goalkeeper and a legit forward. They are the 2 crucial positions on the football pitch that not done. I completely agree with the defense. I think the defense is average at best, but I just do not believe that team is not capable of getting 7th or even 8th, man. And that's better than where they are.
I missed out Cole Palmer, who to be fair has been the best player. The chatter right for me.
I would say Nkunku's a decent player as well. I know he's got injuries issues as well.
So we've got a couple that I might have missed. But what my point is that I don't look at this team and go, yeah, that should definitely be getting top 6, 100%, because I don't know that it should be. And let me tell you now, I think Poch should have been sacked ages ago, by the way. But I look at it and people say to me, so where do you think Chelsea should be then? Should they be in 11th? I go through the team like I just did, and I think maybe it ain't far off that, actually. It's poor.
Look,
it's poor.
I think there are some poor players in there. That I think there's some real talent. I think Enzo, I think Caicedo are really talented players. The problem that you've got, we haven't gone through something similar at Man United, but a lot of United fans have been angry that we've let a number of really talented youngsters go. They're happy with Mainu. A lot are happy with Garnacho, but we had so many others. Because in my view, you can only really develop 2 or 3 real young talents at any one time. You start trying to develop 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them at the same time, and you're cruising for a bruising. The class of 92 are a rarity, and they came into a team that had recently won league titles and doubles and had one of the best cores English football has ever seen. So I do agree that they've got to address their under 23 policy. They need to bring some experienced players in. They need to ensure that it isn't not the blind leading the blind as such, but you've got inexperience all over that pitch and they're struggling and it's hurting them and it's damaging them. And they're progressively getting worse over the course of the season. They had a good December, but for me, I don't think the football looks as good now as it did 3 to 4 months ago. And that's because young players become jaded. They're inconsistent by their pure nature. So that element has got to change. The problem that I find is that I think the manager has made a lot of individual mistakes, playing people out of position, never sticking to a kind of regular core.
Nice.
Even if a player has even if a player has a 2 great games, he's out the team. Even if he has a bad couple of games, well, why don't you play that combination in midfield? Give them 4 or 5 games together, see how they can develop, see how they can kind of how they really take to this level of football. We've seen it at Man United with Mainu. He's looked very good in stages in many of the games that he's played in. But now that he's had 4, 5, 6, 7 starts, you're really starting to see his quality shine through because you've still got to acclimatize to the pace of first team football in the Premier League. So the problem that I have, and I get where you're coming from, is I still think that if you make all these changes, by the time these changes are implemented, by the time you start to fill them in the first team, I still think it's over for Poch. I still think they're going to need somebody new to guide that ship. And
I agree with that.
I'm keeping the same energy as I had with Ten Hag. I think we're going to make a lot of changes internally now at United. And I believe there's been loads of problems he's had with multiple players in this team, fans, everything. the easiest thing to do, and sometimes the best thing to do, is to say, right, we're going to move on, get a new manager under this new regime and start afresh together. Otherwise, you're repairing holes over here and damage over there whilst you're trying to implement something new. And it makes it a much harder task. The changes that Chelsea are now going to bring in should have been implemented before Poch started work. So I do get where you're coming from. And I agree that just sacking Poch in isolation is not going to overly improve Chelsea. And yes, 7th place is better than 11th, but it's still an embarrassment when you've invested the best part of £1 billion into your football team. And there's a guy in the comments that keeps writing, it's not £1 billion squad, 300 or 400 million pound of it's been loaned out, but they've still spent that money, which means it's unavailable to spend on anybody else. So let's not get into the semantics of this situation. So far, this approach from Chelsea is a disaster. I don't know why Chelsea fans are defending it.
They hate it, Tell. They hate it. Oh, it's 890 million and we've loaned out. So I don't care. You spent a load of money.
It's because they realised, bro, it's because they realised that they've wasted it. It's the biggest waste of football money in the history of the game. I've never seen a club waste the money, like Chelsea have wasted their money. Because as Dan said, you look through their squads, how many players are we actually taking from their team? 1, 2 max. It's the biggest waste of cash ever.
I said this, right, to Chelsea fans. I do a lot of content with Chelsea fans, right? You know, Don from this channel, Matisse, Lewis, Goonie. And I said to all of them, this project thing is calm, but you're going to need at least 3 seasons if you're going to be happy, and you're going to need patience. And Chelsea fans are the worst for patience. Yeah, 20 years they've been eating gaucho steak. Now they've turned to corned beef for 3 years. One day they might have gauchos again, but they want gauchos right now. You ain't going to be able to. The squad ain't good enough. It is nowhere near good enough. If you go through a process of buying 20-year-olds or 22-year-olds and your experienced heads are 23, 24, you are not going to win. They're looking to a 39-year-old to be one of their best centre halves. Just let that sink in. They've had to go and get Cole Palmer, who's been replaced already with Oscar Bob, and he's one of their best players. That is a problem. Conor Gallagher is one of their best players. That is a problem. But they want it right now. And the Chelsea fans just sack him, it'll be fine. Sack Potter, it'll be fine. Sack Lampard, it'll be fine. Now sack Poch, it'll be fine. I don't think it will be fine.
Are they saying that, though? Wait a sec, though, because are they actually saying that? Because I'd sack Pochettino, but I'm not saying, I've not heard many Chelsea fans say that. Say, if you sack Pochettino, everything will be fine. I don't think they're saying that. I think they know that there's a problem.
They're saying Poch is the problem. Replace him. It's got to be him. It can't be anything else. It's got to be
it's not all Chelsea
there's a lot that hard it'll be.
There are some that are. I called out Don for this last night because Don, by the way, I love Don. He's a clever guy. He never quite says things. He implies things, and then we'll go, show me where I actually said those exact words. And he's kind of defending a lot of these players. He's kind of defending his football club by putting a lot of the focus on the manager. And that's where there's a lot of Man United fans that do this. They're always, whether they're meaning to or not, they're inadvertently defending the Glazers, defending how we're run, because they put the amount of Man United YouTubers that you hear them say, Ten Hag is the problem. And even though I want him gone from the club, he's not the problem. He's a problem. Me and Staffy got into it the other day. And we didn't quite go, I was like, Staffy, please don't sit there and say that Ten Hag's our biggest problem. When we're the Glazers here for 17 years. You can't do it. But some Chelsea fans are. They're putting a lot of this on towards Poch. But we had Nina on last night, Chelsea fan, and I think she broke it down impeccably well, that it's so multi-layered at that football club. It's unbelievable.